Anybody know anybody else in the Bible that worshiped Baal? Excellent. Jezebel. Even her name Jezebel, the root name Baal is in her name. And there were priests in Israel who served Baal. Now the word for priest at that time was Can, or Cain, or Cani. So the priests of Baal were cannibals. Cannibal. What would they do? They would build high places. They would sacrifice people. Very often children in these high places. And they would eat the flesh. That's where the name comes from. That is the root of cannibal. Priests of Baal. Why do you think God wanted his people to come out from them? Even Egypt would follow after these ancient false gods. And King Eunice, a very, very early pharaoh, has a poem at his tomb, and the poem is about him being a cannibal. Jeremiah 19:4, because they have forsaken me and have estranged this place and have burned incense in it unto other gods, whom neither they nor their fathers have known, nor the kings of Judah, and have filled this place with the blood of innocents. There you go. Innocent blood shed in that place. They have built also the high places of Baal. What are the high places of Baal? They are temples, they are pyramids. They are ziggurats that would track the sun, the solstice, the equinoxes, and cause the whole civilization of that area to worship the sun and the king over that land as the incarnate God of the sun. The king, when he died, his tomb be put in that pyramid so his spirit would go up into the sky and become the new Ra, or sun god. That's how it was done. So they built the high places of Baal. This was a practice that went through all different civilizations. What would they do there? To burn their sons with fire for burnt offerings unto Baal. Which I commanded not, neither spake, neither came it into my mind, for God would imagine no such a terrible thing. It is no wonder that God had to send his Son to put an end to this practice of human sacrifice, to show there's only one Savior, and that God does not require sacrifice like that from us. And Isaiah 57:5 talks about inflaming yourselves with idols under every green tree. And this is the Christmas tree origin. Slaying the children in the valleys under the cliffs of the rocks. Ezekiel 16:20, moreover, thou hast taken thy sons and daughters, whom thou hast born unto me, and these hast thou sacrificed unto them to be devoured. Is this of thy whoredoms a small matter? That thou hast slain my children and delivered them to cause them to pass through the fire for them. Ezekiel 16:24, that thou hast also built unto thee an eminent place, and hast made thee a high place in every street. And as you look at these ancient civilizations, you'll see these streets with a temple to the moon and a temple to the sun. And Rome did this. Jupiter and Mars and Saturn. Where do you think these names came from? Thor, all these gods. The reason all these civilizations had different names for their gods is because when they learned all this false worship, they were in Babylon at the high tower. And then God confounded their language because of their imagination. And so they went every direction with the same worship system but different names for the gods and goddesses. And so Nimrod became Molech, became Baal, became, every other imaginable name. Semiramis, his mother, became Isis, he became Ashtoreth, became Easter. She's even in a statue at the gates of New York City. That Statue of Liberty. Liberty being one of her names. Queen of Heaven, Liberty. You ever heard the land of freedom? You know what's on top of every U.S. government building? Lady Liberty. Governments are established on the Egyptian and Greek and Roman structures today. So, they would make these high places in every street. In Ezekiel 16:25, thou hast built thy high places at every head of the way, and hast made thy beauty to be abhorred, and hast opened thy feet to everyone that passes by. And he goes on to name the countries or civilizations that Israel followed, and that was in verse 26, the Egyptians. In verse 27, the Philistines. In verse 28, the Assyrians. In verse 29, the Canaanites and the Chaldeans. All practicing human sacrifice. All practicing false worship. We know Babylon was the source of all this. It was the beginning. Jeremiah 51:7. Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Babylon has suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain, if so be she may be healed. Let us go every one into his own country. And knowledge will not save. Today we have seemingly such great knowledge. Today we seem to know all about the past. It seems we know how man evolved, how every animal evolved. It seems we knew how to go to the moon. It seems we are conquerors of space. It seems that science has every answer. And yet, when you dig down, you'll find it's about as thick as veneer. There's no substance. There's no depth. So many things founded on so little fact. And how is it that Egypt is considered the greatest ancient civilization from which we can draw knowledge forth? When we have the Bible in our very hands. This book itself totally outdoes any writings of Egypt. There's no question. This has withstood all the hammers of time. This anvil has taken everything that has been thrown at it, and here it stands today. And this word is still sure. Prophetically fulfilled, and prophetically speaking about the future, which will be fulfilled as it is written. Egypt cannot stand against this.